Well, I was hoping there's enough light out here to do this. My wife has been weeding this little bed out, and the grass has been cut. And when the moon reaches a certain apex and it's full, what happens is somebody pulls the plug on the river. And I hope there's enough light for you to see this. But this is low tide, folks. And there hasn't been any vehicle running through that. That's just what it looks like under the water. And see that old rock there? That's how we tell when it's low tide and high tide. And we've been doing that my wife's been doing it for 40 years. Our jetties are getting a little worn. Now I have seen it to where the water was beyond that end of that pier. But my problem is, I'm going to zoom in there and try not to be too shaky. And there ain't a lot of light here. But do you see that board right there with that big old bolt or nail sticking up? Well, I got my grandbabies that come down here and they go in there barefooted. We generally get them, they always wear tennis shoes down there because you can see back off here. There's a lot of debris in there you could step on. But I put my boots on so I can go right there and at least get that nail out of there. That big old log over there I wouldn't mind taking out. I've dragged them out before when they were like that. Put a rope on it, get 3 or 4 guys to pull on it. But let me go get the board. Give you a different perspective when you're down there. You can see the water mark, the high tide mark. See how dark the stones are? See up there on that jetty where the wood is dry? That's the high tide mark. Definitely lost a lot of water. And if this will adjust to the light, you can see where it is. Now when we put these steps in and poured that mass of concrete to keep it square, we had a box built around it. And over time, all that's been washed away. And every year we lose these bottom boards on this step. And that's not one, that's from somebody else. And see that board up there? That came off a cap on the middle of that jetty. But anyway, I gotta go fetch that board so my grandbabies won't step on a nail. Hopefully it won't be too soft. And that board right there is that board with the board that was on top of it, like that. And it came off from there. And I need, these are tongue and groove, and I need to replace these. I just got to get some tongue and groove. But this has been here for a long time. I would say 20, 25 years. If you people who go boating and have bottles of beer or whatever, don't throw them out. Because see, this one was laying right there. And it can get smashed by the tide on the rocks. And then the children walk by here and they cut their feet open. And that's another board that I pulled out. In case it had a nail on the other side, and it's laying right there. There's an old tire that came in here years ago, and boy, you need a piece of heavy equipment to get that out of there. That's a truck tire. And I'm going to show you how muddy it is here. See all these bricks? Pieces of bricks? Between us and those trees over there, the tall ones, there used to be a farmhouse. And years ago they bulldozed it down, and all the brick foundation, they just bulldozed it in the river. And here we are 40, 50 years later with all these bricks. They don't hurt anything. And see how muddy it is right there to get that board out? See my patch jobs on that jetty a few years ago? Now I've capped all these jetties, it just keeps taking them off. Now I don't know that this would be so pointed as it would go in your foot, but there's a good chance. If you jumped up in the air and came down on it, I would think that would go in you, and you know that would be a tetanus problem. So anyway, my children and grandchildren won't have to worry about that.